I've worked in agencies where I've had colleagues say, "Oh no, my client wants someone with an English name or simple name to read." I'm hearing that with a name like my surname, it just makes you think, what kind of world are we living in? There are great people out there with different colour skin that do different things. I don't drink pint, I drink rum. So I remember my first recruitment company as well, going to the pub. I don't really do pub, but what are you drinking? The rum and coke, please. Oh, you drink expensive stuff. What do you mean expensive stuff? I don't drink that crap you put down your body. I drink rum, and that's what I like to do. So you're making me feel away because you look like all that to down a pint that costs you whatever it costs you. And then it's simple things like that, but they don't realise the impact it has. Another big thing I went through as well is the music. When you talk about what music you listen to, and you say, "Oh, I listen to X, Y, and Z," oh, that's not music. Well, hang on a minute. Because I listen to rap or hip hop, you don't class that as music, but you listen. Let's just look a bit deeper. What's rock music then? If you look at rock, that's not. Do you know what I mean? So it's just small things like that. And when there's no fair balance, it makes an environment not as enjoyable. So I would like to make that difference in organisations.
From what I've worked before, I've also, Deborah, been the only Black female working in a specific place. And even something as little where I would not have thought of just, changing my hair. And it's just a thing all day in the office. So I would go through a stage of just making sure that I didn't have too much of a transition so that they wouldn't notice. It's really sad. But
what do you mean, Christiana?
So let's say if I had my normal hair out in a ponytail, and then maybe I would get braids that were, I don't know, blonde braids. And literally we would talk about the whole day in the office, like, "Oh my God, your hair, how long did it take? What did you do?" And it would just be a thing. So I would just go into stages of not changing my hair color, not doing anything too drastic, because you just didn't want to be, the focal point of conversation, because it's not a big deal. And one thing for me, when I came into Rethink, I worked with Andy in the projects team. It's quite nice to have someone who kind of understands, not having to explain, every strand of your hair and what goes on the process, or even something as little as bringing in food. Oh God, you just did not want to bring food into the office because they would be all around your desk, sniffing, going, "That smells exotic."
Oh, wow.
What is that? And you're just like, oh my God. So I've literally worked in places where, being the only woman and being the only Black woman it's just been such an experience. But yeah, I think more and more now, the jobs I'm getting, I'm seeing more people of colour. And just literally, I think the first thing I said to Andy when I joined the team, I was like, "Oh my God, there's another Black woman on the team." And I just said to her, we're going to be friends. I don't know what you think, but we are going to be friends.
My experience of being in the workplace and feeling different or feeling triggered because I am different is if you have a conversation with a difficult conversation with a colleague or a client, and it plays into some stereotypes about being aggressive or overly assertive. And I must admit, even to this day, and I'm 43 now, so I'm not a spring chicken anymore. Even to this day, there are some times where I want to say something and I think I'm not going to say it because I can't be bothered into the narrative changing from this is the issue to, "Oh my goodness, did you see Amanda lose her shit?" Or, "Oh my goodness, she was so aggressive." Or, and because of that, and I feel really cross with myself because I come away feeling like I didn't speak to the point that I should have spoken because I couldn't be fucked with the she's aggressive and all that whole narrative. So sometimes I don't say anything, and that for me is probably the only thing that makes me feel a bit cross or a bit sad. Like the hair thing is definitely a thing. When I've been told before, when I've got my hair curly and it's huge when it's out, I've been told, before, that it's not as professional as when I have it ironed and when it's straight. So that's definite. That's like hair, for whatever reason, is a big deal for people of all cultures to make mention. But yeah, the only thing that really makes me feel sad or conscious or makes me acutely aware of the fact that I'm not white is when there's a difficult conversation to be had and I'm forced to think about this whole new layer of how is this going to be received? What should be my appropriate form of communication? How can I present this in the way so that the other person can't say make these standard rebuttals about my character?
No, I completely understand that and agree with that.